Welcome to Christ and Culture. This is Pastor Jeff Short, and we're going to be looking at another article, another cultural news item for today that touches on Judeo-Christian values. And that's what we do every week. We try to look at the world from a Christian biblical worldview so that it's not just a chaotic mess that often it looks like, even if you do have a Christian worldview lens and you're seeing it through the eyes of revelation from God, it can still look like a chaotic mess. But today we're going to hopefully cut through some of that chaos and really uncover what is taking place. A lot of the times when we live in the information society and when we read articles and hear news reports and internet commentary, we're often confused because the values of our society, these values are changing right before our eyes. We're seeing a revolution in values and moral values right before our very eyes, and it's taking place so quickly. It's so easy to miss it, though, because we're inundated by information every single day, and 5 days ago seems like old news. But we have to be patient and discern our way and work our way through these news articles because we need to know how to think about things in today's world. We have to be able to think about things or we will be led astray by the politicians and the powers in our social area, the powers that be political, whether it's economics, whether it's ideological, philosophical. We're going to be misled if we don't understand things. So we have to understand things. That's what I'm trying to do here is help us understand what we're seeing taking place before our very eyes so we can be better Christians and provide answers to our lost and dying world. So today we're going to be looking at an article about abortion. And we talk a lot about abortion because, well, obviously it's something that is one of the biggest, baddest, most atrocious evils of our day. So as Christians, we want to hammer away at abortion. It doesn't matter if Congress passes a law that codifies Roe as the law of the land. It doesn't matter if the president signs the law. It doesn't matter if the Senate passes it also. It doesn't matter. These are worldly powers. We speak for God. And if God is opposed to abortion, we are opposed to abortion. And we will continue to teach against abortion, whether our society likes it or not, whether we get persecuted or not, whether we get thrown in prison or not. We will speak the truth from God because that's why God has given us the responsibility of speaking truth to lies and speaking the light to the darkness. And so we're going to keep doing that, reminding our culture that God's law is supreme. It says here in the article found in Yahoo News, abortion rates in 2020 increased 8% from 2017. So abortion rates, it looks like, are going up. And it seems like they were doing that trend before the pandemic. It says here that abortion in the U.S. was on the rise as COVID-19 pandemic hit, according to a new report from the Guttmacher Institute. The Guttmacher Institute is a pro-abortion think tank, but usually their information is fairly accurate. So in other words, they're all in for abortion. They love baby killing. They promote it. They celebrate it. They tout it, and they report on it. And fortunately for us, their information is usually pretty good. So they're so bold as to not even try to suppress the information. They just say, here it is. A million babies have been slaughtered in this year or that year. They're so openly about it. Brazen. What does the Bible say? When the wicked strut about, then you know that judgment is near. The report offers one of the most up-to-date looks at abortion in the country 2 years before the reversal of Roe v. Wade. the landmark ruling that previously guaranteed the right to an abortion for Americans. Okay, you do have to watch the language of this article. This article, the person who wrote this article, who is Corinne Miller, obviously a pro-abortion proponent, she's going to slip in all kinds of ideological and biased reporting, of course. It's allowed. You can do that. If you're on the left, if you're a leftist, you can be as biased as you want to be in news reporting, and that's just okay. But if you're conservative and you say one thing that might be interpreted as favoring more traditional family values and Judeo-Christian values, then you are going to be criticized and called on the carpet for that. But see, the double standard exists, and that's the reality, unfortunately, and we have to put up with it, and we have to identify it. The landmark ruling that previously guaranteed the right to an abortion. Well, first of all, there is no intrinsic right to an abortion. God does not give any woman a right to an abortion. And the Supreme Court recently, the conservative Supreme Court, found that not even the Constitution guarantees women a right to an abortion. So God doesn't give you the right to an abortion, and neither does the U.S. Constitution give you a legal right to an abortion. So why do we have abortion? It's because man-made laws have contradicted God and contradicted the Constitution and stepped in and said, we are going to simply decree a right to an abortion. We're going to decree the right of a woman to kill her baby. So that's where we're at right now. For the report known as the Abortion Provider Census, researchers collected information from all facilities that were known to have provided abortion services in the U.S. from 2019 and 2020. The researchers compared the findings to the 2017 Abortion Provider Census and discovered that in 2020 there were 160 abortions performed. Wow, that's almost 1 million abortions performed. An increase, 8% increase from the number of abortions performed in 2017. So, sometimes the pro-abortion people, they don't like when Christians point out that a million babies are born aborted every year. They say, oh, that's way too high. Well, no, that's about what this statistic says. 930,000, that's pretty close to 1 million. And in some years past, it has gone over 1 million, even by the Guttmacher's data. Abortion rates also increased in all 4 regions of the country and majority of states, according to the data. According to the authors, this report demonstrates that the need for abortion care was growing just prior to the need for abortion care? In other words, this report demonstrates that women wanted to kill their baby before Roe v. Wade was overturned. Abortion care is a euphemism. It sounds good, doesn't it? Abortion care. Caring for someone, that's good. Abortion, though, is killing a baby. So in order to make the woman feel better and to relieve the pressure and pain of a child, carrying a child, she kills her baby, and that's called care. See how evil the language is? We need to watch out for that. They're going to manipulate us with their language, and we're not going to fall for it because we know what it actually means. And the impact of this decision will be even far more reaching than previously expected. Okay, so the author is acting like Roe v. Wade it just eliminated abortion in the United States. It did no such thing. Most of the abortions that women wanted to carry out will still be carried out even after the reversal of Roe v. Wade, unfortunately. I wish it weren't that. I wish that Roe v. Wade actually did do something substantial. And it did something substantial, somewhat substantial, but not nearly enough. It says Rachel Jones, co-author of the study and principal research scientist at the Guttmacher Institute tells Yahoo Life, an increase in abortion is a good thing if it means more people are accessing health care that they wanted and need. Increase in abortion is a good thing? What kind of a demonic person would say such a thing? Really? Let's translate that out. An increase in baby killing is a good thing if it means more people are accessing health care that they want and need. No, it does not mean that. It does not mean that. It specifically does not mean that. You can really see the real way that language is being used here, and it's really bad. It's really evil the way they use this language here. We go on. Rachel Jones, it's accessing. This study demonstrates the reliance on abortion was needed before it was taken away in the country. Abortion was not taken away in the country. See, again, this deception. This woman is saying that abortion was needed before it was taken away in the country. It wasn't taken away in the country. Everyone in New York City, everyone in Los Angeles, everyone in Chicago, you just named the major cities where most of the abortions are performed, they still have complete and full abortion facilities that kill babies before and after Roe v. Wade was reversed. So this is such dishonesty. Roe v. Wade's reversal did not stop abortion. The study discovered many details about abortion in the U.S., and here's what we know. Okay. Medication abortion accounts for half of abortions in the U.S. There were 492,000 medication abortions, which typically involves taking a combination of this drug and this drug, a whopping 45% increase from 2017. Overall, the report found that 54% of abortions in 2020 were medication abortions, which the Institute considers a significant jump. Okay, so what that means is now that this medication abortion these pills have been approved by the government for a long time, decades and decades and decades. They were illegal because Christians, pro-lifers, Judeo-Christian moral value people opposed abortion pills because we knew that if you give women the opportunity to have abortion pills, they will have their abortions in their homes. And that will increase the number of abortions, the number of killing of babies. So they have this killing your baby pill, and it's become more widespread. Now it's given out by government in states. And lo and behold, with the increase in abortions has come, the big increase was the abortion pill abortions. So you don't have to go into the abortion clinic and go into the office and have the baby cut up and sucked out with a suction cup. You don't have to do that anymore. You can just take these pills if you're a woman who wants to kill her baby, and then the baby comes out and you flush it down the toilet. So both are gruesome, both are sick and twisted, evil things, but the one is easier than the other one, and lo and behold, that's why it's popular. It says convenience plays a larger role in this. Yeah, it's a lot more convenient to kill your baby in the privacy of your home, in the bathroom, than it is to go into an abortion clinic where you might actually have to face someone who is protesting outside the abortion clinic and saying, stop killing your baby. It's a lot easier to just do it in secret and not let anybody know. Medication abortions require little to no face-to-face contact between the patient and healthcare provider, and the medication can be picked up easily or even in the mail. Getting abortion this way is easily sustained throughout the pandemic, where many people did not go into a healthcare setting for medical care. Many women did not. Again, this leftist, woke language, birthing persons, they say now. They believe that men can give birth. They believe that these people that have babies, people that get pregnant, instead of saying women. This is a game that they play. We have to see through it. We have to call it out, expose that foolishness, expose it to the light of day, expose it to the light of truth, and then we can battle it. But if you go along with their language, their dishonest, fake, false language, they have already pretty much won because you bought into their assumptions and their language. Jones points out that medication abortions were already on the rise before 2020, adding, in some ways, this was continuing the trend, although we do think in some way COVID contributed to it. So, yeah, very convenient. If you want an abortion and you're in lockdown, you just order the pills online. And they come in, you can kill your baby, nobody knows about it. The increase in abortions also coincided with a decrease in births, one that was much larger than the increase in abortion. So the increase in abortion was greater than the increase in births. So there was a decrease in percentage of births and an increase in the percentage of abortions. That's called the culture of death. When you have women choosing to kill their babies rather than give birth to their babies, that is a sick, dark, evil society that is just inviting the judgment, the cataclysmic, catastrophic judgment of God to fall on them. You know, you look at Sodom and Gomorrah in the Old Testament, and those people were tempting God. They were baiting God. They were inviting God to judge them for their perverse sexual practices. Well, look at the United States today. We are inviting judgment upon ourselves because we are seeing an increase in abortions and a decrease in live births. That means that women are choosing death over life. But Wider points out that the Trump administration put restrictions on Title X family planning program that gave millions of dollars to clinics in the U.S. in order to offer low-income people free or subsidized birth control and other reproductive health services, such as abortion. So good for Trump. Another accomplishment in his resume. As a result, she says, access to birth control decreased and the demand for abortions went up. Well, cutting funding to Planned Parenthood was basically cutting funding to abortion and abortion information because that is their big business. In 2020, 89% of U.S. counties did not have a clinic facility provided abortion care. Great. Fantastic. That's an accomplishment. 89% of U.S. counties did not have an abortion clinic where babies are killed. That's good news. They think it's bad news, but I think it's good news. At the same time, 38% of women of reproductive age, 15 to 44, lived in these counties without clinics. According to the report, clinics are the main source of abortion slaughter in the U.S. now. However, 14 states have no abortion clinics, according to Gottmacher. Good. People in these states were already traveling out of state for care for slaughter because they were just one clinic in their state, slaughterhouse. You see how we have to translate this into reality because these people want to sanitize all their language. Let me read that again. People in these states were already traveling out of state for slaughtering their child because there was just one slaughterhouse for killing babies in their state, Jones says. People will have to travel more, and some will have to hop over multiple states to access abortion slaughterhouses, even if they have the option of doing that. At 100 days post-Roe, which was overturned in June 2022, Gottmacher data found that 90% of counties did not have a abortion slaughterhouse that provided slaughtering of babies, with 48% of women between 15 and 44 living in those counties. So they're bemoaning the fact that women don't have these slaughterhouses in their counties, but really they should be rejoicing because it's really good that they don't, because they can't kill their babies. Post-abortion visits conducted remotely rose in 2020. A lot of facilities used to say, you need to come in X number of days or weeks later, but they realized that they can do that over the phone video. People don't need to travel. It has the potential to make care more accessible. So what they're saying here is, this is, in the book of Romans, it says they invented new ways of doing evil. So these abortion doctors can tell the women, okay, just go to your computer, bring up Zoom, and we'll explain the whole process once you get your pills in the mail, your abortion pills. And so they talk to their abortion slaughter doctor, and he tells them how to kill their baby, and then they go out and kill their baby in the privacy of their home because technology has enabled them. To date, 14 states have imposed an abortion ban at viability, and 12 states ban abortion outright, according to Guttmacher. And that is great. Without a doubt, abortions will go down, but Weider points out this will not put an end to the need or desire to get an abortion or kill their baby. There are many health risks for women being denied a wanted abortion, or there are many health risks they claim that puts women at risk for not killing their baby. This is insane. And it's most likely going to impact lower socioeconomic groups and minorities. Oh, so we're supposed to feel sorry for minorities because they can't kill their baby as easily as wealthier people can kill their babies. So the article is basically very sympathetic to women wanting to kill their children for any reason. And instead of saying we want to try to discourage women from seeking abortions, they say, oh, more abortions really means that's a good thing because it means that they're getting what they want. The women are getting what they want. Well, what if you're doing something wrong? What if you're doing something evil? What if you're doing something, an abominable sin, like killing another person? You may want to do that, but just because you want to do something doesn't mean you should be able to do something. In a civilized society, we regulate the actions of the citizens in accord with some kind of civilized moral standard. And if you are pushing for women to kill their own offspring, and now the statistics show that the rates of live births are going down, at the same time, the rates of abortion are going up. That means that your society is increasingly choosing death as an option rather than life as an option. Now, it's terrible concerning abortion and the individual woman. I mean, it is a terrible thing to have the blood of your own offspring on your hands for the rest of your life. You're going to be responsible for the death of your child. There's nothing that can change that fact. Once you decide that you are going to take the life of your child, you are stuck with that the rest of your life. So there are going to be a lot of women, and it says an increasing amount of women, who are going to be racked with guilt, racked with remorse, psychological, mental problems, not even counting the complications, physical complications of an abortion. And there are physical complications to abortions, even with the abortion pill. I read an article last week that talked about how a woman said, I'm just going to get one of those easy abortions, get the pills, take them in the privacy of my own home, and that should be it. Well, what happened was she took the abortion pills, she flushed her baby down the toilet, and yet the problem was there were parts of the baby still left inside of her. So what she had to do was go back to the doctor's office and actually have an old-fashioned abortion with surgical abortion. So what was supposed to save her time and convenience and be easy was actually a complication. So those things happen too, in addition to the complications for women who go directly in for a surgical abortion. Body parts are left in, infections result, and other physical problems. So there are high risk for the woman who undergoes this whole procedure, whether pills or surgery. And then the emotional, like I mentioned before, and the moral problem with it. Because they're going to either have to get right with God, they're going to have to come clean with God, confess their sins, be convicted of the Holy Spirit, and repent, and on their knees beg God for forgiveness through the cross of Christ, or they're going to have to live with themselves in the living hell of knowing that they slaughtered their own offspring. The mother of the offspring slaughtered her own child, which goes totally against the feminine nature to nourish and care for the babies. Now they're responsible for the destruction of their child. So this is bad news. And now that we have the reality of the chemical abortions, which it says 492, that's almost 500,000. So if 1 million abortions are performed every year, which is probably closer to the mark because they probably missed some and didn't count. So you have 1 million abortions total in the U.S., and then half of those now are pill abortions, and that it's going to go up. 54% of abortions in 2020 were medication abortions. So it's even gone past the halfway mark that these abortion pills. This is a major defeat to the pro-life movement when these abortion pills were approved. But we live in a wicked and perverse generation. You can't stop these wicked, evil people from carrying out their wicked, evil, sinful ways because that's their nature. Their nature is to rebel against God. Their nature is to rebel against any authority greater than themselves. And so you can pray and work, and the pro-life movement has done a great job. The reversal of Roe v. Wade was a historic milestone. It needed to be reversed, and for 50 years it stood, but it was, I would say, a great symbolic victory for Christians when the Roe v. Wade decision was overturned by the Supreme Court. What we have to realize now is that just because Roe v. Wade was overturned does not mean that we've won the war against abortion, because now the evil forces are coalescing to try to do an end around that reversal of Roe v. Wade. And so the evil powers and forces and people in our society have said, okay, if you're gonna defeat us at the Supreme Court level, we're going to go an end around. We're going to defeat you in the Senate. We're going to defeat you in the House of Representatives. We're going to defeat you in the executive branch, and we're going to codify Roe. We're going to make Roe v. Wade the law of the land, whether the Supreme Court likes it or not. And they did. They recently did. And so they're attempting to right now. They did on the issue of the gay marriage. They codified that. But abortion is now really being pushed at a federal level. So we need to fight against that. We need to pray that it never happens. And lots of prayer. We'll talk to you next week. God bless.